Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, the latest in the Ezekiel Elliott suspension saga. Plus, Skip and Shannon react to LeBron James criticizing President Trump. And Floyd Mayweather Sr. joins the show to discuss Floyd and Conor fighting in smaller gloves. We've got a packed show, everyone. Skip, Shannon, let's debate. Good morning, guys. Let's get started. Floyd Mayweather Sr. will be here live in studio coming up later in the show.
Conor McGregor gonna get it.
Wait, McGregor is in trouble.
McGregor.
Yeah.
But first, let's get it to the latest on Ezekiel Elliott. He is expected to have the appeal hearing for his 6-game suspension on August 29th. Elliott's defense is focused on the credibility of his accuser, Tiffany Thompson. Yesterday, Yahoo Sports reported Thompson told NFL investigators that she had discussed with a friend a plan to leverage sex videos with Elliott in an attempt to get money. Yesterday, the NFL released this statement. Over the past few days, we received multiple reports of the NFLPA spreading derogatory information to the media about the victim in the Ezekiel Elliott discipline case. It's a common tactic to attempt to prove the innocence of the accused by discrediting the victim. In this case, Ms. Thompson, when coming forward to report such abuse. Common or not, these tactics are shameful. Efforts to shame and blame victims are often what prevent people from coming forward to report violence and or seek help in the first place. The NFLPA fired back, saying the public statement issued on behalf of every NFL owner is a lie. The NFLPA categorically denies the accusations made in this statement. We know the league office has a history of being exposed for its lack of credibility. This is another example of the NFL's hypocrisy on display and an attempt to create a sideshow to distract from their own failings in dealings with such serious issues. They should be ashamed for stooping to new lows. Shannon, whose side are you on here?
Skip, you know I've been outspoken on against both parties, the NFLPA and the NFL.
You have?
But on this occasion, I side with the NFLPA. Because what we're seeing here, Skip, is that the NFL has very, very selective memory when it comes to leak. Now, Skip, and I'm asking you, and you can answer this if you feel free. Who do you think leaked the testimony that Tom Brady either destroyed or wouldn't turn over his cell phone? Would that be Tom Brady and his representative, Don Yee, or would that be the NFL?
I'm pretty sure that was the NFL.
Okay, what about that video footage of the ball boy going into the bathroom, staying for 90 seconds, and then coming out? Would that be Tom Brady leaking that, or would that be the NFL?
Probably the NFL.
Drug suspensions. Let me tell you how drug suspensions work. The NFL gets the information through the testing labs. They tell the NFL, NFL sends it to the NFLPA, who then notifies the player.
Correct.
How does Adam Schefter and these reporters get an opportunity to report such and such has been suspended 4 games, 6 games, or for indefinitely? How do they get that information, Skip? Why would the NFLPA or a player's agent leak damaging information about such said player? Interesting. You hear reporters all the time, my sources in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, you got sources. So somebody in the NFL is leaking such said information. Now the NFL has a problem with leaks. You never have a problem with leaks if the information that they're leaking isn't true. See, Skip, I'm a believer in truth. Say whatever you want to say about me. I might not like it. If it's true, I got to bite my tongue. I got to grit and bear it. But if it's false, I'm going to defend myself. And they try to go to this antiquated, because this is how in sexual assault cases or domestic, well, they're trying to sully it up. They're trying to discredit the victim. Skip, they didn't say anything about she might have had 10, 15 partners. They didn't say anything about what she might have done, what her occupation might be. All they're pointing to is inconsistencies in her stories in which she told investigators and she told Lisa Friel, who heads up the Commissioner's Council. That's all they pointed out. Nothing else. But because they're pointing out the inconsistencies and with her story, and how could the NFL, with all these inconsistencies, come up with the narrative that this happened? Skip, my sources tell me that on one of the night in question, she got into a fight.
The last night in question.
But the
one in which she called the police.
Yeah, but the NFL said those bruises didn't come from this altercation they had. They had to have come from Zeke. Really? She made it known that her and Zeke were not in an exclusive relationship. Skip, look, NFL, stop with this. First of all, when it comes right down to it, you and I both know this, Skip. The NFL has a credibility and a trust issue with its patrons. They don't believe that the NFL is on the up and up on everything. And they always try to portray themselves as the victims. No, you want what's in the best interest of the National Football League. Whether it's truth or not is inconsequential to you because you want the appearance to your fan base that we're doing everything we can to combat this issue. Skip, and I believe they are. But sometimes they'll come to a conclusion when the facts don't support that. See, Skip, it's kind of like fishing. You ever been fishing, Skip?
Yes.
Back in the day when I was going fishing, Joy, I didn't have a particular thing I fished for. I fished for whatever bite. Because whatever bit the hook, we were going to take it home, we were going to clean it, cook it, and eat it. See, the NFL cooks by dynamite. They fish by dynamite, Skip. They're not getting anything in specific. Whatever's blown out of the water, that's what we'll take. And that's what they're trying to do with Zeke. They're saying personal conduct. Personal conduct is really vague and it's really all-encompassing. I'm not saying that you did this, but you did probably some of this, some of that, some of this. And so once we cast this wide net, whatever we drag up, we're going to take. The NFL need to be ashamed of themselves because I just want to know this. How could Adam Schefter get that information about 5 minutes after the NFL handed down their ruling? How could he get that, Skip? They waited until we was off the air.
They did.
Because our Chris Carter said that in the next 24 to 48 hours, and he kind of laid out step by step how the NFL was going to plot their case.
And maybe they didn't want to give us a quick early shot at destroying them in the court of public opinion. Maybe.
So what did they do, Skip? Hey, Adam, we got something for you.
Yep.
Hey, go ahead. I'm trying to just help me figure out, Skip. I'm going to turn it over to you, Skip. Can you tell me, 5 minutes after they hand down their verdict, Adam Schefter is breaking news, strolling across everybody's screen. Ezekiel Elliott is suspended 6 games for personal conduct policy. Boy, the NFL need to stop.
So this has officially gotten vicious on both sides. And before I make my statement, allow me to say, you know how much I love the game that the NFL puts on the field?
Absolutely.
I love it, man. I just about live for it. Love my NBA too, but I love me some NFL. I do not love the men who run the NFL. Right now, especially, the commissioner of the NFL disgusts me because we haven't even mentioned, because it's not even part of this battle, that the commissioner has now opted not to join the commission that he appointed to interview either Ezekiel or his accuser, and he's not going to participate in the appeals process. Harold Henderson, the guy he always names to go do this, so now the commissioner can say, don't blame me. I don't know. But wait, you're the guy who slammed the gavel down on 6 games, right?
Without hearing testimony from either Ezekiel Elliott and said accuser.
Not a sentence from either one of them. Really? Okay, so you read the reports, but you had to leap to the 6-game conclusion, right?
Correct.
Okay, so as you say, and I don't need to beat that dead horse or pile on anymore, the NFL wrote the book on leaking stories. So this is shameful that they would even dare to accuse the other side of leaking, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not even shameful. It's just sadly hilarious is what it is. Yeah. The NFL lives for its image, winning in the court of public opinion, so it's all about public perception, so it's often leaked, what I call just propaganda to win in the court of public opinion. And apparently, the all-powerful NFL, the big, bad National Football League, greatest game in the world to me, feels so insecure about its case against Ezekiel Elliott that it felt like it had to issue a statement defending the honor of its star witness against Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Now, obviously, as Joy well knows, and we've talked about before on the show, there has been a history in domestic violence cases of attacking and shaming the victim. And it could be operating in this case. And just for the record, let's get it straight again. Let's get it right out in the middle of the table. no matter how questionable her integrity or character, she still could have been battered by Ezekiel Elliott on those 3 days in question before
Right.
the night in question, which she called the police.
Who the woman is, what her occupation is, should have no bearing on
bearing.
whether or not she was abused or not, or to be believed or not.
And back to your original point, look, we know one thing about this case. Zeke pulled down the other woman's top
Yes.
up on the roof.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Parade Day, right?
Yes.
He pulled it down because we have the video.
Yeah.
Conclusive proof. So if the NFL wants to suspend Ezekiel Elliott for 2 games because he pulled the woman's top down, I am good with that. You will hear no argument from me.
0 for me either.
But if it's 6 games for domestic violence, which will forever taint and stain Ezekiel Elliott's reputation.
That is correct.
You better show me conclusive proof.
Yes.
I still haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard it yet. And the NFL is now operating on the slipperiest of slopes. And it's a good one for the NFL to be on because it's hard to fight it. And that slope is she said, and then he said, and then she said, and he said. And that's pretty much what we have, right?
And the commissioner said, Article 46.
46.
I can do whatever I want.
I am judge, jury, and executioner,
That is correct.
even though I'm going to appoint this commission to tell me what to quote unquote do, but then I'm going to do it.
What they think happened, and then I'll just.
And just again for the record, given that slippery slope and the accuser's credibility as a star witness, the police departments in Columbus, Ohio, and you can say they're biased because Ohio State's located in Columbus, but there's another police department in Fort Lauderdale, and they investigated and they questioned thoroughly this accuser, and they found her testimony not to be credible, to be wildly inconsistent, contradictory, inaccurate.
Those are the terms
Correct.
they use, Skip.
All right. And she was caught in one lie for sure. That doesn't mean everything was a lie, but she was caught in the biggest lie, which was on that night in question.
Yes.
When she said he had abused her on that night,
Right.
in which she called the police, and we know all the rest of the testimony from eyewitnesses where she had screamed at him because he had sort of kicked her out of his birthday bash. I'm going to ruin your career. So we got a lot of he said, we got a lot of she said. We have some witness testimony other than these two.
Yeah.
And I'm still stuck in limbo. I don't know what to believe, but I'm not convinced that he battered her on 3 previous occasions.
Right.
So now we come down to, we have 2 police departments that said no, and we have, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram report, and I assume it's somewhere in somebody's report, Lisa Friel, former sex case prosecutor in New York City, hired by the commissioner post-Ray Rice debacle to advise him on domestic violence, said, I cannot vouch for or sign off on her credibility as a witness because her testimony is
Wishy-washy at best.
contradictory, misled investigators a couple of times.
At worst, she's lying.
Okay, so why would the NFL then need to defend her publicly, which is odd? We haven't even started the appeals process.
Thank you.
Are you a little nervous about your case, about your witness? So you got to put us all on that slippery slope of don't witness shame, don't attack the witness. I mean the victim here. This we should say alleged victim.
Correct.
Don't attack her. It's shameful you would do this. Well, is it? Maybe it's part and parcel of trying to prove Zeke's innocence that you do have to show what her credibility is. I don't know. That's where I'm left.
Skip, how is victim shaming pointing out inconsistencies in her story? As I said, they didn't say she was an exotic dancer. They didn't say she worked as a call girl. They didn't say she had 15, she was a college co-ed and she had all these partners. That's not what they said. They said there are inconsistencies in her story. And the NFL chose to pick what they believe to be true while disregarding the inconsistencies. How is that victim shaming? But hold on. There's also there's a second party in here. What about Zeke? Isn't he shamed? What's the scarlet letter that he will be, if this goes through, what scarlet letter is he going to be strapped with? A domestic abuser. So doesn't Zeke have the right to defend his name, his honor? I'm not saying Zeke is a saint.
He's not.
But that man has every right to defend his name, to defend his family's name, and pointing out inconsistencies in the story that she told on different occasions. Skip, it was told to me that she told a friend, called a friend. They have text messages between her and her girlfriend. Tell the officer that when we arrived, Zeke pulled me out of the car. Well, that didn't happen, but tell him anyway. Skip!
Okay.
Really?
Help us out, Joy. Weigh in.
The NFL is in really dangerous territory here. When Chris Carter first came on the show and said that they were going to make this announcement about his suspension, we assumed that whatever was going to come out was going to be concrete and clear. So now they're back in the Ray Rice territory, but on the flip side of it. Because if this ends up being a complete botch job and Zeke is cleared of all of this and it turns out that she was lying, you've just set back the clock, however, right back to the beginning.
Yes.
Before Ray Rice.
Before Ray Rice, before you even had this policy.
Right, because the 6 games, everyone's focusing on the amount, the 6 games. That's supposed to be the standard. That's what it's supposed to be. So the amount of games, whether it should be 2 or should be 4, is irrelevant. It's 6 games if it happens. So focusing on the amount of games is silly. This is what the policy is supposed to be.
I agree.
So it's not about 6 games, which is why, to your point, they can't reduce the game.
You can't.
What's the point of having a 6
Or
policy
you can
anyway?
reduce it to 0 if you say he's
Right,
innocent.
it's 6 or
okay.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's 6 or it's nothing.
But if you remember now, Commissioner Goodell handed down Greg Hardy 10 games. Harold Henderson came in and it reduced to 4.
But big difference. Greg Hardy lost the bench trial.
Right.
Because the judge said, you are guilty.
Right.
But in North Carolina, then you get a shot at a jury trial. And the alleged victim, who was then the proven victim
Right.
in a bench trial, went away.
Yep.
And the authorities told reporters that they were told she had been paid off.
Right.
So now Harold Henderson's in a little bit of a sticky situation here because she gave up the fight so he could say, well, okay, maybe we got to come back to 4 games on this one. This is completely different because we still have dug in over here and dug in over here. He said and she said.
Well, that's why it brings me back to what we were talking about the other day, which is either all of this did happen and she is a sketchy character and we all know about Zeke's credibility issues. But
you know what? I'll call him a sketchy character too.
Sure.
Because he's had all kinds of
and
issues.
the abuse did happen, but it's just going to be murky
Right.
because of those issues. B, they've completely botched it, and she's lying, and she tried to frame him, and then we have a disaster of epic proportions on our hands. Or there's just another ball that has to drop, and when it does, it'll clear everything up.
But here's the thing, Skip, in the Greg Hardy case, once he appealed it and she didn't show up, it's almost as if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because
it was expunged.
It's white.
Sure,
I mean,
as far as the law goes.
right,
But
right,
again,
right.
getting back to the NFL doesn't have to have that
No,
burden of
I
proof.
get it.
We all know what happened in the Greg Hardy case, so that's why no one argues that they were too hard on him.
But there was no pictures and there was no proof that that lady that Greg Hardy was dating at the time had gotten in a fight the night that she called the cops on Greg Hardy.
There's a lot of, again, sketchy stuff going on with this. It's strange to me that the NFL is not being more transparent. But again, that makes me wonder, maybe there is something that the victim doesn't want to be public that the NFL knows about, and that's why they're digging in on it.
It's also possible the NFL decided to make an example of a star Dallas Cowboy when it comes to domestic violence. We are in charge here. We're on top of this.
Well, I hope that's not
I guess,
the case.
you know what I'm thinking? I think Mr. Kraft leaked that information that he would not let those 2 ball boys talk to the investigation. Mr. Kraft did that, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Kraft. Who leaked that, Skip?
NFL definitely needs to be more transparent here.
No mercy.
Hey guys, before we move on, I wanted to tell you that the Undisputed podcast is brought to you by Barbasol. The biggest thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream is also the only thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream. Introducing new Barbasol razors. The brand America trusts for a close, comfortable shave now has premium disposable razors. Barbasol's close shave technology on every razor means you get an advanced pivoting head and ultra-thin open flow blades. The Ultra 6 Plus razor also features a 7th blade specifically designed to refine and style tricky areas like under the nose, sideburns, and beard. Visit Barbasol.com and get a $2 savings coupon and see for yourself why Barbasol razors are the #1 new disposable razors out there. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
No mercy.
Marshawn Lynch and Michael Bennett made headlines after both sat during the national anthems before their games over the weekend. Jason Garrett, John Lynch, and Bennett's coach Pete Carroll were asked about the protest this week. Let's take a listen.
I support the heck out of his concerns and his issues and all that. When it comes to it, I love our country, and I think we should all stand for the opportunities when the flag is represented. But the fact that his heart is in a great place, and he's going to do great work well after the time he's with us, and it's easy for me to support him in his issues. But I think we should all be standing up when we're playing the national anthem.
There's no question in my mind. The national anthem is sacred. The flag is sacred, and our team has demonstrated that.
And I think this game brings people together. So I think personally, when I see that, I think that's divisive, and I understand guys see things that they're not happy, and they have that right. And I think we'll always respect people's rights. That doesn't mean I believe that. I believe that this game should actually be celebrated for what it is. I think a tremendous unifier for our country and for what the way things should be.
We're joined by Super Bowl champ Seth Joyner. Seth, welcome back.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Yep. Teammate. We got a championship we got to skip.
Hey, listen, Joy, if you yell at me the way you yelled at Ray Lewis a couple weeks ago, and check my IB, we going to break. Okay.
Am I gonna have to break it up?
Skip, you look like you were scared for the first time on any show. Skip looked like he looked like he needed his little Rottweiler.
Wait, you mean
over
the
there.
first time you were on this show?
No, I'm talking
You
about
doing
Me
and
and
Ray.
Ray got into it.
With me and Ray.
Scared?
Skip it never scared me.
No, I don't think so. I think I was scared for Shannon.
Seth, what are your thoughts on what you just heard?
This is so dangerous on so many levels because, if neo-Nazis and white supremacists can get permits to march in the 21st century, you mean to tell me that these gentlemen can't express their constitutional rights as far as the national anthem is concerned? And then you also have to think about those that came up through the 40s, 50s, and 60s and what they sacrificed. Even life was lost for the right to express yourself freely. And what I'm hearing here is we need to control that. And what I believe is that you don't have the right to control that because as a citizen of these United States of America, I have the right to protest the way that I see fit. Now, at the end of the day, some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. But I think we're getting so far out over our skis as far as this issue is concerned because we are missing the message and getting so caught up on the method. And the message is what's important. Last weekend is evident and proof of that. We need to focus in on the message and get away from, the method of how guys are doing it. And whatever your platform is, however it is that you decide that you want to bring attention, eyes, or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, that's your constitutional right to do so.
As I look back there, I see 1, 2, 3 cowards. Jason Garrett, coward. Pete Carroll, coward. John Lynch, big, huge coward. Jason Garrett, let me start with you first. I wrote this down. Jason Garrett says that flag, no, make sure I get it right. That anthem and that flag is sacred. Are you telling me life isn't sacred? You telling me a symbol, the flag, a song, the anthem, is more important to you than life itself? I've always valued life more than cloth. I keep telling you, they hide behind that patriotism, but I'm starting to see you're peeking over prejudice. Jason Garrett, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Pete Carroll did a lot of double talking. I just think that flag, okay. What about those guys in Charlottesville? They was carrying the American flag. They were standing, waving it. What were they shouting? You proud of that? Are you proud of this part of America? Are you proud of that segment of America? Pete Carroll, Jason Garrett, I'm knocking on your door. Black America's knocking on your door. Are you proud of that? John Lynch, you say they have a right. I don't necessarily agree with that. But if you notice, each one of these guys talked about the flag, talked about the anthem, and how football brings people together. They have yet to talk about the police brutality against unarmed black men and women. They refuse to even acknowledge it. Commissioner Goodell was in Arizona talking to season ticket holders. He says we need to understand the other side of the protest. And the black people still like, you heard, Commissioner? But then he said, well, you know, they need to focus on the community, you know, doing good in their community. See, what Commissioner Goodell wants you to do is whistle in the dark. Excuse me, I take that back. He wants you to wink in the dark, Skip. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. See, what's going on in our community, we need to take it outside. Because, see, you're in position, the policymakers, the economic influencers, you control this. See, the biggest mistake that black Americans made that we thought political office was going to be the end-all be-all for us. That's why we got so upset at President Obama. He's a black man in office, and my plight has not changed. He's in no position to hire, to influence your economic status. He's a policy maker. He can make policy. That don't mean they got to enact it. That's the biggest mistake we made first. And John Lynch, I read the article talking about we had Steve Young and Jerry Rice come in there, and they talked about, you know, how important it was. Status quo is important to all three of those guys. Well, I'm sure glad those guys had nothing to do with me being free in America, because they would have accepted the status quo. Slavery was fine. Hey, y'all might have some freedom, but I'm still need you to pick cotton. I'm still gonna need you to build this building. I'm still gonna need you to build America. But hey, don't protest. See, they want you to protest to make it comfortable. Because see, Skip, if I make you comfortable, you keep going right along with it. I gotta make you uncomfortable. I gotta put you in a position that you hear me. Dr. King said riots are the voice of the unheard. They're not rioting, Skip. We're asking you to hear us. We're asking you to acknowledge that there is a problem in our society. But all you want to talk about that flag. You know, everybody says that flag means a lot to them. But see, in that third stanza that they took out, when they're talking about the slaves, if you tried to run away, there is no lengths in which we wouldn't go to capture you and bring your black butt back. You proud of that? You know why? Because those are white men. That flag, the anthem is not about them. Francis Scott Key did not write the anthem with blacks in mind. Well, he was talking about the slaves being recaptured and brought back to do what they were brought here to do to begin with. All three of those guys are cowards. They're hiding behind, oh, the game is to bring people together. You asked me to go fight for my brother on the field. Give up my life for him, so to speak, on the field. Now I got an issue that's affecting my community, and I want you to help me. You're like, nah, you on your own over there, bro. Man, get off my, get these. They make me sick. Literally and figuratively.
So, now you've lost me. I don't get this one. I have sat here day after day after day, and there will be more days when I will defend Colin Kaepernick for what he did. I still think it had dramatic impact on this country.
This is not a cap issue. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's a sit for the anthem,
yes.
Stand for the anthem issue. I can't condemn these guys because I've been doing this for too long. I've known too many football coaches. I started covering Don Shula's Miami Dolphins, and then Tom Landry's Dallas Cowboys, and Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys, and Bill Walsh's San Francisco 49ers. And I was around Buddy Ryan a little bit too. And all I was ever taught from all of those great coaches was that football, above all other games, is a we game. It's a unity game. Championships are built on team unity. You, more than anybody I know that. So you can't expect these guys to say anything but what they're saying. It doesn't make them racist. Maybe they are racist, but this doesn't condemn them as racist for taking this stance, because they're in the business, and it is a tough business, of winning football games or getting fired. And the only way they know, because they've all been taught in similar ways I was taught, to win football games is to make it a we. That's what they were all saying.
Okay.
Even John Lynch got to the point of, after a while, it gets divisive. Well, if only 3 sit or kneel for the anthem, it gets a little divisive because it's not a we thing. The greatest protest I saw a year ago was game number 1 by the Seattle Seahawks. What did they do? They came out before their home opener, and everybody, all 53 and all the coaching staff, locked arms. Okay? I love that. Again, should they have kneeled, locking arms? You could say that, whatever you want to do. But it was a team-wide protest that everybody agreed, I think, to participate in. That's how you team build. In Colin Kaepernick's case, there were a couple of other teammates who joined him. But John Lynch can look back at what happened last year. Colin was, 1-10 as a starter, and they weren't a very good team. I thought Colin played really well. 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, so it wasn't his fault. But you can look back at the result, and it wasn't a pretty result. So, again, you can't condemn them. They're just doing what they're taught, like we got to pull this thing together. If they're getting a little bit of pressure from above about sponsors starting to get a little antsy about this, sure.
I want to ask you this.
Okay.
So is the kneeling or the sitting for the anthem protest, is that more or less divisive than what happened in Charlottesville?
Well, how can I compare what happens in the concept of a locker room and a football team to what happened at Charlottesville?
He's saying the kneeling for the anthem is divisive. I'm asking you, which would you deem more divisive? What transpired in Charlottesville?
I can't compare that. That was a tragedy of epic proportions.
So it's more divisive.
Well, divisive in America?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, you say football is the ultimate we game.
Okay, but we're just talking about football here. That's all they care about.
Okay.
They're all tunnel vision.
Okay.
You know it and you know it. You've been around coaches.
Okay.
They live, eat, sleep, and breathe football.
But you gotta learn how to compartmentalize some of these things.
Thank you.
Okay, as a head coach, that is your job to bring your team together. Let's think about how a team interacts on a daily basis. Okay, we're there from 7:30 in the morning to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In that time frame, we're probably together as a team. 5 hours out of the day?
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the time, everybody disperses and goes their own direction. Okay. So at the end of the day, you want your team together when you go on the field to play, but you have no control about togetherness away from the game. You have
that's
no.
fine.
You have
they're
no.
not saying about you. You can speak
But
out
you
all
can-
you want to speak out.
But
Pete Carroll's not going to try to muzzle everybody. That team is as outspoken as any team I've ever seen in the NFL.
If your team is together on the field, why do you care about anything else? Because you know what? Those guys can take a knee before the game. When that game starts, you think those guys are thinking about taking the knee?
Okay, but what's going to happen as soon as the game's over? Everybody's going to come and ask about the knee. Am I right? It's going to be a big distraction. It's going to carry on into the week, and they don't like it.
That's that word again that I hate. I hate that word distraction because the media, coaches, owners, fans, everybody's come up with this word distraction. It ain't nothing but an excuse. It's a scapegoat. You get paid to play football for 3 hours on Sunday. What are you distracted from? What are you distracted from? You prepared during the week and you play the game.
It takes away from team unity. You know it, and I know it.
You know what's the biggest distraction in football? Losing. That's the distraction.
But again, wait, I got to defend Jason Garrett. I'm his harshest critic.
Go ahead.
But was he hired to be a commentator on racial issues?
No.
I mean, what does that mean? He's racist if he says, "I want my team to
Skip, for him to say the flag and the anthem is sacred, but life isn't. I mean, he basically said the flag and anthem is sacred, but life isn't.
He did not. He's saying football's sacred. His locker room is sacred.
Okay,
you know and I know. You saw Shannon. You saw what he went through.
You said football is the ultimate we game.
Yeah.
With those 80% of those black players that play in the NFL, we got a problem in our community.
Okay, why don't you tell the Seahawks then to stand up in unity and say, we will not play game 1 if Colin Kaepernick is not on this team, but you won't bite on that one.
Skip.
Why won't you bite?
Because
put your money, your deals where your mouth is. Do it.
The same way.
Because I'm all for you. I'd have your back on that one.
I will.
Okay.
As soon as these owners come out and denounce what President Trump said, that's what I'll do.
But this is about let's get Colin Kaepernick a job.
Colin Kaepernick.
What just happened in Seattle? How's he not a Seahawk?
No, see, See how you shifted the argument again.
No, I didn't.
When these owners denounce what President Trump said, then I'll say, guys, y'all black players in the NFL, y'all need to take a stand because Colin Kaepernick is being whiteballed. So I need you guys to take a stand.
It's part and parcel of the bigger picture then. Take a stand against all of it, all of the above.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll back you 1,000% if you'll do it.
I'll still stand by it.
At the end of the day, these players have the right to voice their opinion and protest the way that they so choose to. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that whole distraction thing. And a lot of people saying, well, when you bring Cap in, this is what's going to happen. No. Listen, there's a remedy. You got a PR department. Have them do their job. You sign Cap. Cap comes in. We're going to address this day one, and we ain't talking about it no more.
That's fine.
If you
I
come
think
to
it'd
my
be
locker,
great.
if you come to my locker and you want to have this conversation, the interview is over. I got 15 minutes to give you every single day. If you want to talk football, we can talk football. But we don't need to talk about.
I agree.
So now
I'm
you
with
take
you 1,000%.
So now you take the entire distraction bit of this out of the way. And now what does that leave you? That leaves you right where we started off from the beginning. You know that this guy is being blackballed right now because you can't tell me that there aren't a whole lot of quarterbacks that's on the NFL roster that's so much better than him. I keep watching teams bring in player after player after player at the quarterback position. They can't even hold his job.
He's better than Joe Flacco is.
We gotta leave it there. Seth, thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
We'll be live in Vegas on August 24th and 25th to get ready for the Mayweather-McGregor super fight. Come watch the show in the audience. We'll be right outside of T-Mobile Arena. Undisputed live from Vegas next week. And we're joined now by Floyd Mayweather Sr.
So I got to say up front, I lost the suit battle today, but I'm gonna win the debate.
When you bought that, you lost that.
You
Wait a minute, you lost that.
Yeah.
Well, you lost the suit thing today.
Yep.
Gonna lose the fight.
You lost the last time I was here.
I don't remember that.
I know you don't want to remember. And you're gonna lose this also.
Here we go.
Well, let's
And
get
tell him we're
started.
gonna get a new suit on Saturday, on August 26th after we.
From you.
Oh, so we're betting a suit on this fight.
Now, yesterday, the Nevada Athletic Commission voted to allow the 8-ounce gloves in the
Yes,
fight.
yes.
Does the smaller gloves give either fighter an advantage?
I'm gonna tell you like this right here. They say Conor McGregor can punch and Conor McGregor can do all this. Floyd fought nothing but punches. Diego Corrales, Oscar De La Hoya,
Canelo,
Canelo,
Cotto.
And he know more about the name than I do because I'm telling you, all these guys right here can punch. All them guys, every guy I name will knock out Conor McGregor. All of them.
Knock him out, Conor McGregor.
All of them. And guess what?
Guess what?
They all got their ass whooped.
Yep.
So, guess what just happened to your son? He let Conor McGregor get right under his skin, right in his head, and all the way into his pride. And he said, okay, I'll fight you in 8-ounce gloves. And I think this guy said, I'm scared of 8-ounce gloves.
Hey, don't even worry about that. That Floyd been fighting in 8-ounce gloves all his life.
But not at 154.
Man, ain't nobody worried about him. He ain't finna hit nothing anyway.
So are you in that same camp of people who say there's no way that Conor McGregor lands a glove, a single shot on Floyd? Will he touch him?
Look, man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. can take a punch.
I've seen him take a few.
This sucker right here can't take nothing. I'm telling you right now.
He can't take nothing.
Oh, does that mean?
Can't take nothing.
Are you
Talk to him, Pops.
Are you
I'm over here on my
suggesting
phone.
your son is going to knock him out?
Hey, that's very possible with him. With him, that's possible.
With him?
It's possible.
Do you think he can punch Conor McGregor?
I wouldn't care if he can punch or not. He ain't finna be. I don't know if he can punch or not. But I can tell you this right here. He ain't gonna be hitting on Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because Floyd Mayweather Jr. ain't gonna allow it.
So this man sat across me for.
And this man right here, I seen this man on the bag.
Yeah.
I seen this man up on the bag yesterday looking at on TV.
What did it look like, Pops? Terrible?
Look like some little kids playing.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you, man. Oh, man, look.
Kids playing.
He going this way, then come back this way. Then
Telegraphing.
Move his legs this way and this
Telegraphing.
way. Man, look here, man. Guess what? He in a world.
Well, so is it just a mismatch? Is it just going to be he'll just toy with him?
Look, man, you gonna see something you ain't never seen before.
I agree with that.
Wait. You done seen Floyd many a time. All you see, everything you saw was success. And I'm gonna tell you, there ain't gonna be nothing else but that.
I think I'm going to see a lot of duck and run, a lot of shoulder roll, duck and run.
Hey, that's the name of the game.
Is the winner.
That's the name of the game. How you think the man been winning all the time?
Hey, that's what he does.
His daddy taught him.
He runs great. He ducks great.
Sure do.
Yep.
And punch in the process.
And
Yes,
there's
yes.
only one way.
You can say all what you want to say, but guess what? You can't win no fight if you ain't got no arms and no legs. So I'm trying to tell you, trying to say Floyd is running. So that means he's running. That means he ain't fighting because he ain't got no arms to fight with. He ain't hitting nobody, so he ain't scoring.
That's correct. And the judges let him get away with it in Las Vegas.
And guess what?
His town.
Guess what? It ain't here. What Floyd do will Floyd do will work in any town, any place, anywhere. And what you talking about is nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense. He got 2 of the 3 judges are Vegas guys who have done a bunch of his fights.
Hey,
and
look.
you know and I know they're going to protect their turf. Floyd's money to them. He is literally money to that town. He fuels that Vegas economy. They are not going to rule against him. If it gets to 12 rounds decision, you know what's going to happen.
It's still going to be the thing, because guess what?
And plus, it should have boxing judges. They're in a boxing match. Floyd Mayweather is a boxer. He's the A-list, so he should have boxing judges.
It's rigged. It's over. If it goes 12 rounds, which I think it will, if that's only. Yes, it is.
Pops, you see what he did? Now Floyd gonna win. He gonna talk about his rig. Now he just told me earlier Conor gonna knock him out in 2 rounds.
Well, that's what Conor said. With 8 ounces, he said, I'll knock him out in 2 rounds.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I knock Conor out in 2 rounds.
You?
Yes. Let me tell you something, man.
Once upon a time, you did something.
Look, it ain't there now. Except what I could have did years ago.
Yeah.
He gonna do it real soon. Like,
all right.
Real soon.
The 26th.
We'll
We
pick
gotta
this
take
up
a
in
break,
just a
but
second.
we'll have more with Floyd Sr. coming up. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon to tell you about a great offer for our listeners from Saks Underwear Company.
Guys, you may think all underwear is the same, that quality doesn't matter, but it does. Don't put up with a pair that's uncomfortable. You'll end up throwing it out in a few months. Instead, make the switch to the best, Saks underwear. These have it all. Comfortable fabrics with a great supportive design that allows you to move freely no matter what you're doing. They'll put your old pairs to shame. Take it from Shannon, a Pro Football Hall of Famer who's an active guy.
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
Outside Magazine just had an article about how Saks has revolutionized underwear the same way Gore-Tex revolutionized jackets. And it's true. Saks has taken something we all need and made it better. Quality, support, and comfort. Everything you need. We want you to try Saks underwear with our special limited time deal. Go to our URL, saksunderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase. Pick up a few pairs. That's Saks with 2 X's, SAXX. Underwear.com/undisputed. undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks, guys. That's saxunderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase. That's Sax with 2 X's. One more time, that's saxunderwear.com/undisputed. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
Welcome back. Floyd Mayweather Sr. is still with us. Senior Dana White released this video of Conor sparring with Paulie Malignaggi. What did you think of the video?
I didn't think nothing about the video because that's not even fighting right there. Look at this fight for yourself. Look what they're doing. Let me show. Look at it. Wait a minute. Look, did you see the way his arm is formed? He's gonna get killed.
Did you see Paulie's head snap back from that left hit?
Forget about all that. He's gonna get killed.
He's going to get killed?
Yep.
You sure your son's not in harm's way here?
Not at all.
You know what? Your
Not
son
at
has
all.
never faced the thunder and the fist that guy has.
Everybody said that about Shane Mosley. Everybody
No,
said that
they
about
didn't.
De La Hoya. Everybody said that about
Cotto.
Everybody said that
Canelo.
Canelo. Everybody said about everybody. And guess what?
49-0.
He's still here today. And guess what? This man just got beat by some chumps. He got beat by whooped by three chumps.
Chumps? Nate Diaz is a chump? He outweighed him by 40 pounds.
Who?
That Nate Diaz, when he
Nate
wrestled.
Diaz fought most of his life at 155. Skip.
By fight time, he was 200 pounds.
No,
Was
he
that?
wasn't. Stop,
Yes, he
Skip.
was. And he wrestled. They could wrestle. Is Floyd going to take him down to the ground and pin him?
Get him
in a chokehold?
No, and we ain't playing that kind of game. Now,
Neither is
if you want to pin somebody, then well, hey, you reach in your pocket and get your money out because we sure gonna take it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And Paulie had on Air Force Ones, Pop. You saw when he got knocked down, his heels came up. He in sneakers. Paulie Malignaggi boxing in the ring in sneakers. That ain't no boxing.
he's telling he's telling you some truth.
You know what? You are dangerously underestimating this man's will and his skill as a boxer because his claim to fame in UFC is he likes to stand and exchange punches.
Well, guess what? He got the wrong guy in front of him. He got the wrong guy in front of him because guess what? He gonna eat a lot of leather.
Eat a lot of leather. A lot of foam leather.
A minute.
But guess what?
Hey.
It's only 8-ounce leather now. 8 ounces.
What? So what? That's good.
Now Floyd can't hide behind big old 10-ounce pillows.
Guess what?
Pillows.
Ain't nobody
He's a pillow fighter.
Floyd ain't never fought no pillows.
Yes, he had. 10 ounces.
10 ounces? Man, what's the difference between 10 ounces and 8 ounces? Ain't no difference, man.
It's a huge difference.
No, it's not a huge difference. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Pops, did y'all bring Paulie, the video? I know he didn't look all that spectacular in sparring, but did you guys talk to Paulie about some of the things that you could take advantage of Conor in the ring?
Paulie, I didn't see Paulie. I don't think I seen Paulie. But
Floyd doesn't care about that. He's not doing any homework on this.
guess what?
Huh?
You know why he ain't doing no homework on it? Because he already know.
He already got the answers? He got the answers to the test already?
Got all the answers. Every answer.
All the answers, Skip. You heard it.
Every answer that needs to be.
So, Senior, lay it on the table. Floyd is going to knock out Conor McGregor. Lay it right there on the middle of the table.
Look at, man, I'm going to tell you like this right here. Because I can't tell you, because of certain things, but certain things I don't blurt out. So I'm just going to tell you like this right here. Only thing I'm going to tell you is I'm not going to tell you that Conor McGregor is going to get knocked out, but I will tell you he going to get his ass whooped.
Not good enough for me, Pop. And then we're going to turn up. I'm going to turn up. We're going to turn up on that hand.
Then we're going to turn it up, baby.
Turn it up!
All the way up.
So you're talking about a 12-round ass whooping, right?
Man, look at
12 rounds?
I'm going to be honest, man. I don't even think it's going to even go 12.
Okay, well then you just predicted a knockout.
You going to quit?
Wait.
Yeah, you make him quit.
Go make him quit.
So we're going to call it a TKO in what, 6 rounds? 5 rounds? 4 rounds?
Hey,
lay it out there.
Hey,
Come on. Courage of your convictions.
Guess what? One thing about me, I don't just spit nothing out.
You're right.
But hey, I'm gonna tell you at the end of the at the end of this fight, Floyd Mayweather
50-0.
ain't no diggity, ain't no doubt.
And he gonna owe you a suit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll bet you a suit on this.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, I'm going to lay it right in the middle of the table. Conor will knock your son out because it's the only way Conor's going to win this fight. Your son is going to underestimate what's about to hit him, both in will and skill. This guy is crazy. He's crazy.
Who?
McGregor. He's going to come at you in ways you can't even imagine.
That's the way Floyd like him.
That's the way he like him, Skip. He like him crazy. Yeah.
Bring him on. That's what he like.
I feel sorry for you guys. I do.
Man, you know something? You know something? I'm gonna tell you about yourself. I'm gonna tell you about yourself right now. We got this. I thought we got this already squared off, and I thought that you knew, and you took motion to what I was telling you last time. But guess what?
No.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna tell you, you did take motion. Cause you know what? Cause you told me, you know what? I don't know what a pool counter is. And you still don't know it today what it is, do you?
I never heard
Thank
the
you,
term.
sir. Yeah. Thank you. See,
So that's
you
it?
still don't know what it is.
Full counter. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
secret to the
We
fight.
gotta leave it there. Thanks
And
for
guess
joining
what?
us, Floyd Sr.
And
9 days until the fight. And remember, all the prelims and the pre-fight
And guess
show will
what?
air
And
live
guess
on
what?
Fox.
And guess what?
Starting at 6 Eastern.
And guess what?
What?
Hey, if he get hit with it, you know what? What I'm gonna do? I ain't gonna even drive my car, man. I'm gonna get up and start running.
No mercy.
On Tuesday, LeBron James came out with a strong criticism of President Trump's handling of the situation in Charlottesville, Virginia. The president held a press conference and blames both sides for their involvement in the rally and spoke out against the removal of Confederate statues. LeBron responded with this tweet: "Hate has always existed in America. Yes, we know that, but Donald Trump just made it fashionable again. Statues has nothing to do with us now." Skip, what's your reaction?
I greatly appreciated what LeBron said and what he tweeted. And ultimately, I greatly admired it. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. This is the one area in which LeBron James has been so much greater than Michael Jordan, who mostly avoided using his platform, Michael's platform, to speak out on any political or social or racial issue. As gifted as LeBron James is at playing basketball, and he's obviously extremely gifted at that, I think he's equally gifted in this area.
Yes.
And I hope post-career he pursues speaking out in this area and whatever job he could find or whatever position he could find to use that platform, because he speaks with courage and he speaks with conviction and he speaks with knowledge. And as he said in his remarks that he made publicly, he speaks with command. He knows what he's talking about. And what I appreciate the most is that LeBron never speaks from a position or a mindset of hate. It's always of love. It's always we. It's always, I love this country and I love everyone in it, and we can be so much better. But it's always, we can be so much better. I'm going to read some of his remarks that he made at the annual family reunion charitable event that he does at the amusement park back in Cleveland. He said, I know there's a lot of tragic things happening in Charlottesville. I have this platform and I'm somebody that has a voice of command. He does. And I continue to quote, and the only way for us to be able to get better as a society and us to get better as people is love. That's the God's truth, man. That's the bottom line to all this. And he goes on to say, it's not about that guy that's the so-called president of the United States. And then he goes on to say, it's not about the teacher you don't like or you think doesn't like you. Or it's not about people that you feel just don't want to give their best energy and effort to you. It's about us. It's about us looking in the mirror. He's talking about kids all the way up to adults. What can we do better to help change? And as idealistic as that sounds, that is it, man. That is the crux of everything that we talk about on this show. And I loved him for saying that. And then he went on to tweet about that Hate has always existed in America.
Always.
But President Trump has made it fashionable. I don't know if fashionable is the right word. He just made it newsworthy again. It gave legs to it.
No, Skip. And I said this also. I said what President Trump has done is he's made it okay to be openly and blatantly racist because now
Okay, but those protesters have always been there. You just didn't pay attention.
They've
They've always protested.
They used to have hoods.
Okay, but they're
It's okay now. I can show you my face.
Okay,
I got somebody in the White House that speaks for me.
Well, I think I like showing face more than I like hoods.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So he made it okay to come from behind those cloaks. He's made it okay to come from behind your computer.
But my whole life, these people, the neo-Nazis and the skinheads and the Klan, they have protested frequently. We just didn't pay that much attention to them.
We've never had a president.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan said, President Reagan said, I will not accept your endorsement. You do not speak for this country.
Okay, so more media are going to cover these protests because of the man in office.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
Yes.
So again, I don't know if it's fashionable, but it's newsworthy.
Think about what he said. He said there were good people on both sides, and both sides came in. Under his argument, the Nazis and the Allies, they were equally culpable for World War II. That's what he's saying. They're equally culpable. By that logic, let me ask you a question, Skip. When we went to war against the Nazis, did we fight that war alone or did we have allies?
Well, we joined it after they were fighting it.
Exactly.
We weren't there at Dunkirk. They took the losses. The French took the heaviest losses.
Right.
And the British barely survived.
And
without all that, we might be a very different country right now.
It looks like we might be a very different country now from from the looks of things and the way we seem to be heading. Skip, I love it. I admire LeBron James. There's a reason why sponsors put advertisers as their endorsees because they are so influential. Skip, Muhammad Ali was a great fighter, but I can make a great case that Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, some of the great heavyweights, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, was equally as great. It was because of what Muhammad Ali did outside of the ring. He said, hold on, I can sit back, take my millions, drive my fancy car, live in a big home, say America's great while my people are suffering, and appease who wants me to be appeased. But while my people are suffering, I can't sleep with myself saying that America's great. And America has some great qualities, but America has some flaws also. And me being a citizen, I should have the right to point those out. I should force America to talk about its past and what it's done and the harmfulness that is done to a segment of society. But you won't acknowledge, so we can't move forward. No drug addict can move forward if he does not acknowledge he or she has a problem. America is never going to move forward until she admits that what they did to the black population, that slavery was wrong, that civil rights and Jim Crow was wrong. These statues, Skip, why isn't there a statue in Germany of Adolf Hitler? Why are there Nazi swastikas? Oh, the Confederate. Do you understand what the Confederacy was trying to do? They wanted to succeed. And they wanted to say, no, we want to own these. We want people to be property. Just like a house, I own it.
Yeah.
Just like a horse and buggy.
Just for the record, it was also about economics. In the end, it was about money. But go ahead. That was part of it. But if you read the history, I'm a student of that history.
Yeah, the money. Oh, so
a lot of money involved.
But who was making that money? Who was picking that cotton?
Yeah.
Who was building that? Oh, so you don't want to acknowledge that part, that slavery existed. You don't want to acknowledge that on the backs of these black slaves, that the majority of America was built. You don't want to give no credit for that. So what do we hear? Oh, I get it. All we do is just steal and kill each other. That's what we do. That's what y'all place is in society. Really? That's what you want us to think? That's all we're worth? I know the history. I studied history. I went to a historically black institution, and they did me a great service of teaching me what I didn't get in high school, which wasn't much. Skip, this country was founded on protest. We didn't want to be ruled by British anymore. And what did they do, Skip? They came over here and they fought. They dumped all that tea in the harbor. Why? Because they didn't want taxation without representation. That's a protest. You celebrate something every 4th of July. That's independence. You fought for your freedom. And most white Americans hate black protests. They're not rioting. They're not tearing up anything, Skip. A silent protest.
And by the way, they came here for religious freedom.
Yeah, but
just for the record.
But isn't that a form of protest?
Yep.
And what President Trump has done, he said, Skip, I'm doing away with the political, the PC culture. So whereas before you wouldn't say something to someone because you're like, but now, I'll call you whatever I want to call you. So what? I ain't being PC. I can call you the N. I can call you a monkey. Or I can send you an email with someone eating watermelon. Okay, who cares? President says it's okay. Because like he said, back in the day, somebody did something you didn't like, you just take them outside and beat the hell out of them. Skip, I am so glad LeBron James, his voice, he realizes influential. I wish more black athletes would stand up. I wish more athletes in general. But we can't ask the other side to stand up if we're unwilling to stand. And I love what LeBron is saying. And I know, don't get involved in politics too late. Athletes and politics have always been hand in hand, Skip. We've seen other athletes stand side by side. All I'm asking now, what I would really like to see, Skip, I would like to see the NFL and the NFLPA. You might not agree on Zeke. You might not agree on revenue sharing or free agency. But come together and issue a statement. We, the NFL and NFLPA and our players and ownership, despise. We do not agree with what our president said. There is no place in America for racial bigotry, the hatred and ideology that happened in Charlottesville. And we stand united as one, that hatred and bigotry is unacceptable in America. I would like to see them do that. If you for real, if you say you understand, Commissioner Goodell, you say you understand the other side of the protest, well, now he's talking about something that's very near and dear to you. He said, hey, those people's marching, they didn't say, hey, we want everything to be kumbaya. They wasn't singing kumbaya. They say, this is our land. And Jews, you will not replace us. African Americans, blah, blah, blah. Okay, come on, NFL. Come on, NFLPA. Come together and speak out against what he said.
Okay, so I got to sum this all up.
Sum it up.
My perspective of LeBron. Again, big picture, I have always called him, often called him on live TV, the best role model in sports. Just for the record, of late, I haven't loved the language he's used in public because it seems like a shift for me. I don't quite get it, but he's been under a lot of strain inside that organization, obviously.
Correct.
And occasionally I do think he can act childish, but that's in a basketball context.
Right.
In the real life context, he's the biggest star in sports. Real life, speaking out.
Well, they say the true measure of a man is how he treats people who have less than him. And LeBron's always been just the absolute best with that. He's the perfect example of how a superstar should conduct himself,
Yes.
in my opinion.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.